go? Is he still touch and go? Or?
Yeah, he'll train today. It's probably unlikely to play, but if he gets to train today well and doesn't pull up with any soreness, then he will play. But we'll probably select him and see how we go. But 20 days after a hamstring's a little bit of a risk, but it's a very important game for us. And obviously, Melbourne's midfield got good strength there, so we need someone strong around the ball to compete with them.
Have you got a history of hamstrings, or is this his first?
Early on in his career, probably 4 years ago, I think he did, but I don't think he's hurt a hamstring for 4 years up to this one. So very minor, very slight, and yeah, we hope he comes up for tomorrow. But if he doesn't, he doesn't.
Early's the same.
Early's the same, yeah. Almost exactly the same situations. Almost. It was a Sunday game; they definitely play. If it's a Friday game, we're a bit touch and go. So we'll watch them both train today, and we'll make a decision later on today.
You said before your last game was a real test to the side as to how they go without Jade. What do you make of that performance?
It was interesting. It wasn't necessarily our clearance work or our stoppage work that hurt us. I think we won the clearances quite convincingly in that game. Our contested football was good. It was probably more the way we used the ball that hurt us against Richmond. So, you know, the guys that stepped in Job's role in Sam Lonergan, Ben Howlett, were pretty good. So,
how have you assessed the three ruck, I suppose, experiment?
I wouldn't say it's an experiment because we've done it every week except one,
yeah,
except two. So it's going reasonably well. You know, some weeks 2 play well, 3 play well, 1 plays well, but it's going very. As I've said before, we don't actually look at it as 3 ruckmen. I mean, Paddy and David are playing sort of 60-70% of their time as key forwards. So that's the way we see them, as either forwards or backs with a bit of a pinch hit in the ruck to support Tom in the ruck.
Is it something that you plan to continue with?
Yeah, definitely. They'll all 3 of them will play this week. So.
Is it potentially more of an advantage against a side like Melbourne than a sort of using a makeshift sort of ruck?
I suppose if you dominate the ruck hit-outs, it's an advantage, and if you use your ruckman well, it's an advantage. But as I said, we're seeing the other 2 guys, Paddy and David, very much as key forwards. So we see that as if they win their forward role, that's the job that we're really wanting them to do. And if they 10% in the ruck and they do well there, that's an added bonus.
How do you think it's affecting Paddy Ryder?
I don't know. I'd have to ask him. I think people have had different opinions on Paddy's game, and we're looking for a contest time after time from him in the forward line. He's actually giving us that. The way we moved the ball against Richmond made it very hard for our forwards to kick goals and to take marks in a bit of space. So some of it is around where Paddy's positioning himself, but I think also we need to deliver in the ball a bit better as well.
Yeah, so sort of finding his feet a little bit down there, or?
I don't know about finding his feet. He's actually, if you look through the season, we've played 9 games. I'd say 2/3 of those he's played pretty well up forward. So you're allowed to not have as good a week some weeks. That's the way football goes. You can't have your best game every week.
How did you see Tate Cairns' comeback game, and how's he tracking?
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I think he was almost best on ground the first half in the reserves last week. He obviously won't play. We've got no game in the reserves this week. He won't play in the seniors this week, but if everything goes well, we'd hope that in 3 or 4 weeks he'll come into the senior team, which is a massive bonus for us to have a fresh player who's a really one of our key defenders and uses the ball really well in our back line come into our side halfway through the year.
I think we all knew that he had those really bad internal injuries, but his foot injury, how bad was it, and was it similar to what you had?
It was very, very different. It was actually left over from when he was a kid. He broke his foot as a 10-year-old, I think, on a motorbike accident, and part of the bone in his foot actually died at that stage. So he'd been playing his whole career with, I suppose, a navicular bone that wasn't fully there. And before I got here, I think about August last year, they did an operation on it. It's just taken a lot longer to heal than they thought. But now it's back to normal, and we're looking forward to having him play.
So have you sort of penciled in when you can imagine him returning to the seniors? Or?
We'd love him to play this week, but we'll wait. We'll give him some time. We'll give him a lot of time to find his feet. I think the worst thing you can do is rush a player in senior level and they play a couple of bad games and their confidence goes. You lose confidence in them as a player. So we need him to be playing really consistent football at VFL level, and then we can think about playing him in our team.
You're expecting the Melbourne to come out and be pretty physical tomorrow night, considering those comments made by those players, Bruce free footy and that sort of thing?
Look, we expect every team to come out physical. That's the nature of football. It's a combative game. Every game we seem to play is a highly contested ball game, and this will be no different. I mean, Melbourne are a proud football club. We've got a coach who loves them to play exciting, daring football, and that includes going and winning their own footy. So we understand that tomorrow night is going to be a very physical affair, and we hope to match them in that area.
James, what did you do last weekend? Why? Did you sneak off to Arizona or anything?
No. The boys had, I think we gave them Monday to Thursday off, or Monday to Wednesday off, so 2 or 3 days off, and then we came back into training Friday morning, and we trained Friday over the weekend, and so we think we're pretty well prepared for this game in the way we trained, and our guys are, this part of the season is very important for all clubs. You need to be winning games this time of the year to give yourself a chance later on in the year, and so we see this game and this sort of month or two is hugely important for us.
So the run-up starts now?
Well, for a club like us, the run-up started in round one. We need to win every game we can, and we're improving, and our development side of it is to win games in the middle of the year.
Just going back to that term, Bruce, free footy, how familiar with it are you, and how offensive do you sort of think it would be if someone labelled your team?
Well, I haven't, so I haven't even thought about it. It's irrelevant to us how Melbourne are labelled. We will go out and play our style of football, and how the Melbourne Football Club handles that is their decision.
Did you see the game last week?
Yeah, I've watched it.
Comments were just.
As I said, our opinion on how we play is what we're here to talk about. But Carlton and Melbourne, I'm sure will sort that out. I'm not sure if they play again this year, but they'll sort that out at some stage in the next 12 months.
Only 2 teams have won coming off the bye against a team that also didn't have the bye the week before. Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know what happened in those clubs. Who were they? Who were those?
I can't go through the whole. We've got a list, but I mean, even Collingwood lost the week after the bye. Carlton have. So good teams have done it. It hasn't just been your Gold Coast and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a big stat to be, ignored completely.
Well, I think one of the reasons is you get into a routine of getting your body hit, getting your body hurt, running, working hard in a game, and even that gets put out of kilter for a week or two. It can take you a while to get back into it, and I think that the one thing we need to do is start really well and keep our game going after having the bye. Mentally, you switch off a little bit. We would hope that our players coming back Friday has meant that they've had a week of good training before this game, and mentally they're back ready to play.
So that was obviously in the forefront of your mind when you programmed the week or the 2-week stuff that you sort of had.
The forefront of our mind, as soon as the Richmond game finished, was to beat Melbourne, and our training was all designed around that, but also designed around giving our players a bit of rest and making sure that they're right to play this week, but also we don't get another bye until round 24, so we've got a big patch of games to come. So it's important they had 2 or 3 days, not so much physically, but more mentally, just to have a break.
How hard is it to compensate for that lack of match fitness, that physicality during a bye? Do you have an extra hard session on one of the days that includes tough tackling or
yeah, we managed to cope and put in a session that we hope would replicate a game of footy. So yeah, luckily we didn't break any ribs, which has happened in the past.
James, is it tougher than ever for that man management, working around buys and the length of the season and whatever? Is it tougher than ever to manage the fitness and health of play?
The game to me seems a lot harder than it was when I played football, and the recovery players need from a week-to-week basis is ridiculous. Really, how much time they do take to get over a game, and that's because of the physical nature of the game, but also the running requirements. And we require our players now to run forward, get the ball, and run back to defend more so than we ever have in football. So, I think that the management of players is where you can get an advantage if you manage your players properly.
Brent's had a tough couple of weeks. Will he play? And I think he's due to play his 150th.
Yeah, Brent will play his 150th, which is a great achievement for Brent. Coming into the side as a really young kid back in the early 2000s or mid 2000s as a really exciting player. And he's developed into a fantastic player. He hasn't had his best couple of games the last 2 weeks, but he's still, I think, our 3rd highest possession getter for the year, and number 2 in kicks. So he's going okay, and we're looking forward to a really big game from him this week.
Was the bye a chance to take stock of how far you've come so far in that first half of the season and where you want to go for next half?
It was a chance to have a look at that. We haven't actually done a lot, and we've got a lot to do. It really is. It's a confronting. AFL footy is very confronting when week after week. You can build your season with wins, but also a few losses when you don't want them can ruin a season. So we're under no illusions that we've done okay so far this year, but there's a long way to go. And the improvement in our team over the next part of the year, I think will tell you whether we've had a good year or not.